Theresa Lola, and I'll be reading a few poems. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to live in a time like this, how living literally in the middle of a pandemic calls us to return to our faith in one way or another, whether to question it, to reflect on it, or to hold on to it. And I've been thinking a lot about how this period, a lot of faiths have been shaken, even the ones that we thought were the strongest within us. And that was what I was thinking about when I wrote this first poem. And it's titled, We Look to the Sky. We look to the sky, watch rain fall like jewels from a money heist emptied on an inappropriate day at an inappropriate time. No one is no longer in the mood for fighting an umbrella against the rainy wind, slapping it as we walk to the train station. We just want to make it back home alive. From the supermarket, from the post office, from the long walk we go on to clear our head, each step a footprint of prayer. What a time we are in. Dictionary defines it as unprecedented, and we carry the word unprecedented with us, spin it around the house like a search for signal as we wait for heaven to respond with answers. We sit at the front door and wait for the sun to emerge like a golden coin, beg it to remain a valuable currency. One article listed it as a material for the body's shield against grief. Another said it just makes one happy. I'll take what I can get for now. We return inside and we wait on God. We wait, we wait, we wait for the sound of his voice. Our faith near chipping off itself. How do we comfort those whose tears fall into a bowl of questions and swim there? We know the Bible verse, everything works together for good. We are just trying to decode the good in this. We sit by our windows and wait for the click of fingers to reveal this as a dream or an epic parable. We know the instructions. To mourn with those who mourn, rejoice with those who rejoice. We are just trying to adjust the ways we do so, finding new ways to hug without hugging. Some days our hands feel like concrete. Sunday comes and we watch church service online over our phones. Pastors admit they too are only human. Say they spend their time growing a new faith, the texture of a rock. Urge us to do the same. They offer a prayer after sermon. We stretch our hands towards the screen and beg our hands to not fall. Our mouths say amen in a tone we have never heard before. So this second poem, I wrote it as part of a campaign that I started shortly after lockdown was announced. I started the campaign with Spread the Word organisation as part of my role as Young People's Laureate for London, and it's called #SayYourPiece, which is PEACE, and it's just about getting people to share poems about things that are bringing them peace in this time. I really wanted to focus on the positive in the midst of the very anxiety-driven news, understandably. And so this was the poem that I contributed to the campaign. And I wrote it thinking about what is bringing me peace in this time. And I was thinking about my family. And one of the things that we started doing a lot was playing board games. And so we would play Scrabble, Ludo, and different games. And it would just, for a moment, just get us laughing and just enjoying each other's company. And so this poem is titled, Let Us Play Scrabble Again. The Scrabble board is a neatly cut tape. We touch the hem of its board and feel a strength return to us like a prodigal child. My mother smiles for the first time this week. My father brings home the sun in his palms. My sister cleaves from the sticky skin of her phone. I find tranquility thick as a towel cover me. The Scrabble board transforms into whatever is required by the bodies around it. Sometimes the Scrabble board is a plate we eat from, our mouths swallowing conversations peacefully since the breaking news starved us of an appetite. Sometimes the Scrabble board is a classroom board. We learn that life is a continuous anagram. We learn to form meaning out of nothing. We learn it is a conscious effort to be linked by words, by language, by love. This third poem is titled Flash of Dynamite. And aside from poetry, one of the things that I really love is music. And the one thing about music is that it carries a spirit, in the sense where when you listen to a song, you start to feel the emotions of the song. Your body just responds to it. And so listening to songs that make me feel happy has been very helpful. And I was thinking about the nostalgia of music. So this particular poem is in response to a song that I heard years ago, and that takes me back to when I was in year 9 and at the top deck of school buses. And it's a song called Dynamite by Taylor Cruz, and it's an electro song, which is not really my genre, but it's just a song that just has so much nostalgia, and a song that just gets me moving, which music does. And so I wrote a poem in response to that, and how in this moment music is really what a lot of people are using just to get them by. I hear my neighbours play music all the time, and so that was, additional inspiration to writing about it. So this is titled Flash of Dynamite. It is Sunday, cleaning day, and the streets are quiet. So we turn the TV on to music channels for background sound to pass time. And the TV offered us a song that turned my skin into a fierce fabric unfurling with fire. Each note was a flask of flashlight pouring light into my hands. I ate it like a feast at a festival. The man on the screen sang. I throw my hands up in the air sometimes, saying, "Hey, yo, gotta let go." I want to celebrate and live my life, saying, "Hey, yo." And my body was a jar of dancing fireflies. I recognized the song from years ago. MP3 players played by youths on the top of double-decker buses. From videos of house parties, it made them dance with the knowing of a fluorescent future. Like the song says, like it's dynamite. Dance like it's dynamite. My house instantly felt like the grand hall of a welcoming ceremony, the air like a forest of canopies. I dance, I dance, I dance. I feel free for the first time in a long time, and I forget the world outside for a second. And this poem, this last poem is also about music. But I was thinking about a quote by a comedian called Dave Chappelle, and he has a special, one of his first, and the quote was, "Where is Ja Rule to make sense of all this?" And that quote was in response to thinking about things that happen in the world, things like a pandemic, just things that make it to the news, and how when things happen in the world, we're looking for celebrities to respond to them. We want to know what they think of them. And he was reflecting on just what that means, and why. I mean, yes, celebrities have a huge platform, but it was a very interesting commentary. about how we look to certain people to validate our feelings in a time like this. And so I decided to play on that, and this poem is titled "Where is Ja Rule to Make Sense of the Apocalypse?" And Ja Rule is a rapper, and he was someone whose music was very popular when I was growing up. And so, yeah, this poem is titled "Where is Ja Rule to Make Sense of the Apocalypse?" These days, buildings bruise like bodies, and bodies break like brittle branches. The world has threatened to end so many times, I have become indifferent to destruction. The Bible on my mother's bedside table pinches my arm, begs me to be prepared for rapture, claims heaven's gate has strict bouncers. But by the next morning, I'm immersed in a WhatsApp group chat with Stacy and Stella about hashtags and hashouts. We debate which song transports our body to the womb of another world. On the day the earth decides to become sand again and shovels begin growing in place of trees, I want my small world to remain intact. I want to practice denial without disturbance. Is that too much to ask? I know every beginning has to have an ending. I watched the end of my grandfather, who was once a child, was once a beginning. Each time news of an apocalypse resurfaces, I want recycled statements from celebrities, calling it absurd, sending their thoughts and prayers to the shaken, offering their empty mansions as hideouts, as handmade heavens. How I wish, like them, I can pretend I'm not a part of this. But my ego is not a strong enough lamppost to tie my body to and stop a fire from sweeping me off my bones. I close my Bible after another attempt at understanding. In all this, I wonder, where is Ja Rule to make sense of the apocalypse? Men like him seem to have been alive for infinity. He was the soundtrack to the after-school parties when I was small, before I knew the word apocalypse or could contain its barbed-wired syllables in my mouth. I've never seen fear leak from his mouth. He released an album in 2012 as if unbothered, the world was predicted to end that year. Today, I will pull the speakers closer, drown into music and ignore the world cradling in the arms of a clock. I play the albums Plain in Love and The Last Temptation, and my body feels like a cassette tape winding the tangled knot in my stomach back into childhood. What is nostalgia if not a fireproof chamber? Ja Rule should have a joint concert with Ashanti, so I can be locked away, unable to hear the world collapsing like an expired star. Always on time plays, and I don't peek at my watch. I sneak in a prayer between each song, just in case the world collapses and I need to be remembered by another God.